I really like the idea, the function of these souvenirs, of the fact that you go somewhere other to where you are from and live. So it's this experience of travel. You experience a place, and you want something back from that. You want a memento. You want a little trinket to kind of to prove that you were there, or but also to remind you of the experience each time you see it. So that souvenir on the shelf or in a box or wherever it exists afterwards, it just brings you back to that place. So it is an amazing kind of little thing that's just injected with so much meaning, and it's all about nostalgia and memory. However, these particular objects are mass-produced. They are not part of They're not antiquity. They're not precious. They're not handmade. They are mass-produced, low-grade items, often plastic, often made in Taiwan or wherever, not in the place that they describe. My selection for the exhibition is quite surprising. I was very surprised at the amount of souvenirs that were from places that are quite close to Bedford, Soham or Southend-on-Sea or Wales, or so places in Britain, as well as the exotic, the Mallorca, the Spain, Portugal. So you can really get a sense of where people in Bedford are travelling to or where they're going, just by looking at their objects. There are some others from the States, but very few then from Africa or Asia. So whether that they're in production as much, I'm sure there are many souvenirs in those places, but people in Bedford seem to go to places close to Bedford, and also in Europe mainly. Mallorca and Costa del Sol being typical kind of British resorts, or having large expat communities. So perhaps that's these objects are not random, I suppose. They are kind of sociological, kind of mapping out of how people travel and what they bring back with them, and then what they deem as no longer useful in their lives. So they've been given away back to the second-hand shops, and then somebody else picks them up, and so the journey begins. So and I've picked them up. I've picked up many, and I'm giving them a new life within the gallery. And what I think is really exciting is the fact that only down the road or around the corner or up the street or 5 minutes away from the gallery, from the BCA Gallery, are these shops where they existed, and they were ranging from very, very cheap to quite expensive, actually. Kind of the levels of expense were quite surprising. But I've brought them into the gallery context, so they've been given a new life, have hugely upgraded their importance. And that juxtaposition and that kind of change of location from a shop 3 doors down to a gallery, and what that means, I think, is an interesting thing. The economics of that repositioning or the juxtaposition of places and value context. I've suggested that these are valuable objects. In another context, their value is much less.